Welcome to yet another episode of the Bobo, Donovan, and Mango podcast. Say hello, Mango. Quick announcement. Before we begin today's episode, we have a new member of the podcast.
Yeah?
We have a third member of the podcast.
Who's the third member of the podcast?
It's Mango. She's officially a third member.
She signed on for the whole season?
Yeah, she's now signed on.
No, it was a bitter negotiation
It
with
was
her
really
management.
bad.
The thing about Mango's manager is she's a shark.
She's a ruthless capitalist.
Right, like Mango does this whole like, oh, I'm a cute little dog, but then behind the scenes, she hires bulldogs.
Listen.
To just really negotiate.
Listen.
She, by the way, we're now her employees.
Oh, yeah,
it's
just... She takes all of our money.
Yeah.
She decides and she demanded that she have more screen time.
Yeah.
And this is low-key why she's here.
Whatever Diddy did to Mace, that's that's the contract that she has us in now.
We're being exploited by Mango, and this podcast is a cry for help. Please subscribe to our Patreon.
She takes 80%, but that 20 is really important.
Yeah. And like she won't face you guys. Like look at her turning around.
And then when the cameras come off.
Oh
my gosh.
She's when we said Jeff in the streets and Mark's in the sheets, that's who Mango is. In the streets, she's Jeff. But on camera, she's Mark.
She's just Suge Knight. As soon as this shit cut off. Yeah. No, she burns Newports in her hour. It's awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're very happy to have her. We're very happy to have her as our third member.
Yeah.
Mango, do you have anything to say? She's really invasive today.
She doesn't speak when her lawyer's not here.
So it's... Yeah, Mango's lawyers are something else.
Yeah.
And speaking of, I want to discuss in today's episode incels. Speaking of Mango, I'd like to discuss incels.
Yeah, man.
Because just the other day, I discovered Andrew Tate.
I forced you to discover
You
Andrew
forced
Tate.
me, and I tried to refuse.
Yeah.
I was disgusted from the minute I laid eyes on him, I was disgusted.
Yeah.
His popularity has me wondering, because he's an incel. Can we start there?
Absolutely.
And for everyone who doesn't know who Andrew Tate is currently the most popular man on the internet.
Yeah.
Which is quite terrifying because he's actually worse than Hitler.
Yeah, he is Hitler. Like, he is a fascist.
Isn't
like a
he
very
Hitler?
prototypical one.
He just worries me.
Yeah.
And I wonder why, and it's not him who worries me, it's his popularity that worries me.
Right.
Why is Hitler back again? Like,
Right.
why did Hitler make a comeback in 2022?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the answer of that is reflected in incels and the rise of incels.
Right.
And we don't talk, like, as a society, we actually don't talk about how terrifying it is.
Yeah.
That not only is the world run by incels,
Right.
but they're just being actively recruited and encouraged. The rise and the growth of incels has been a very slow, insidious climb to the top.
Yeah.
And now that it's at the top, we haven't even realized that it's been slithering. Actually, let's start here. Because not everyone here would know who Andrew Tate. Can you explain, in the fewest words possible, like, what is, not even who, what is Andrew Tate? What is that phenomena?
Yeah.
And then what is that creature? Like, explain to me what's going on.
It's comforting to me to hear you think past the idea of being mad at a person and being mad at their ability to become this popular.
Yes.
Right? Like, and I'm appreciative to hear, like, anyone just, like, understand the world in that way, you know? It's how, like, people need to think about things. It's not that this guy is popular, it's that why is your 8-year-old nephew on an iPad watching it? It's something that is often brought up in jest, which is, like, men do not know how to deal with breakups. It's like that tweet where it's like a man will have his heart broken in the 2nd grade and for the rest of his life will be like, I don't trust these hoes. Like, it's like, and It's another thing that women constantly bring up, which is that men do not have real friends. We are not real friends to each other.
Yeah.
Breakups are really traumatizing.
They're so traumatizing.
It's something that no one talks about.
It's
The thing, and one of the few benefits about being a woman is that you can at least talk about it with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as people say like, oh, women friendships are so fake, they exist in an emotional space.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
that is real.
Men will sometimes have loyalty to each other, but we are only talking about sports, gaming, and like sex. You know what I mean? It's just like, so when women go through breakups or just go through like problems with men, I feel like you guys at least have the shared emotional space of having each other to deal with it.
Yeah.
Men don't, right? And that lets that energy and that resentment and like feelings about women just fester in this insane place.
In this extreme place.
Yeah, and at the origin of all of these Andrew Tate type figures, you will find a very bad breakup. Or neglect in some way. Neglect from a mother figure is often the core of it. That is the psychology of this complex. The neglect from going through the human experience that we all do. Sometimes people love you and then they don't the next day. Like life and being an emotional person that connects with other human beings is really scary.
Yeah.
It inherently, you're going to get
painful.
your heart broken.
Yeah, yeah.
And then men are just not encouraged to be emotional at all. So when your heart gets broken, and then you can't express that with anyone, and it festers. 10 years down the line, you get an Andrew Tate.
Interesting.
And you know, like, and you see how that trauma combined with a lack of ability to articulate it or express it just gets filtered into this monster.
Yeah. Well, my question is, why do men magnify women in this way? When a man breaks my heart, I don't then magnify him into a symbol of an entire gender.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that nigga broke my heart.
But guys
then, like,
kind
there's
of
other
do.
stuff.
And this is something we talk about all the time, where it's like we
yeah.
enforce each other's trashness. Like, let's pretend like the niggas ain't shit movement doesn't exist.
Yes,
or like divestors don't exist.
Yeah.
I'd argue women do it a lot less. That's
definitely.
the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because what you started this conversation with is so important, is not why does he exist? Why is he this popular?
Yeah.
What
is he resonating with?
Right. There are women incels. I can scroll my phone without learning who they are, right? The real danger is, why does this guy have millions and millions?
Yeah.
The hashtag of his name has 12 billion hits on TikTok. It's like, men always make this argument that like there are equally trash women, and there are, but they're not the president. You know what I mean? Like, they're not the most searched person in the world.
Yeah.
I can go on YouTube and like find a compilation of women saying the most like cringe fucked up shit ever. It'll cap out at like having 100,000 views.
Yeah, they don't become these gods in our eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you saying before?
Well, like, fundamentally, I'm prefacing this whole conversation with the fact that, like, Andrew Tate is an incel.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that he is an incel, why is he at the top of the male hierarchy? What is it about the ideology of incel that resonates so deeply with men? Are you guys okay? Like, are you guys...
Can I bring up one thing?
Yeah.
And, okay, this is not a defense. This is not an anything. This is just something that needs to be understood.
Yeah.
Because people get mad at the period at the end of a sentence, and they never get mad at the actual sentence itself. It's like how, like, when black people get mad that, like, black people don't win awards, it's like, you're mad at the award. You're not mad that, like, black families don't have the additional income to enroll their kids in art class. So it's like, getting mad at Andrew Tate is getting mad at the period at the end of the sentence. Let's go through the core. In, like, our current climate, there is kind of a reaction, rightfully so, against like traditional expressions of masculinity. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's for so long literally been paired with straight up fascism.
Yeah.
So it's like when your boyfriend goes to the gym and is super into like gym bro shit, and like it turns out that like odds are he's also like a fascist. He's also a misogynist. He's also, because for so long, traditional expressions of masculinity were paired with misogyny. Right. But that doesn't mean that certain messages of traditional masculinity, like, hey, clean up your room. Walk with good posture. You should work out. You should take care of your body. You should eat healthily. You should not just drink and smoke weed and play video games all day. Traditional, just like things that fathers should talk to their sons about, just aren't getting said. and expressions of those things have for so long been paired with just straight up misogyny.
Yeah.
Mind you, all of these things are things that shouldn't have to do with women.
Yeah.
This should be like
Yeah.
advice men give other men
Yeah.
just so that they can get through life. You
Yeah,
know? Like
yeah.
at the end of the day, like
So
kids,
what you're saying is men don't have fathers.
yeah, kids need like a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
Especially right now in a world that is like reacting to patriarchy.
Right,
So like I
right,
say this all
right,
the time. This
yeah.
is women's era.
Yeah.
It's earned. There's nothing wrong with it. Men
Yeah.
that are mad at it are absurd.
Yeah.
But
yes.
it does mean inherently that it would become
Men are confused
a
about
little bit
what
harder.
it should be to be a man.
right.
Interesting.
It's your
I'm
era.
fascinated. Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that the patriarchy isn't still happening. It just means that like we're in a very rare moment in time that, by the way, might not even last.
Yeah.
Where like women are the present and the future. It's like
Yeah.
no one is walking around with shirts that say men are the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like so like
yeah.
and men are also insane to think that this is any real threat to power, but it's like
Yeah.
that question, it's like that quote of to someone with privilege, equality feels like oppression.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's
yeah.
what's really going on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not that men are being diminished in society as all. It's just that we've been privileged for so long. Any attempt that women have
to
like,
dethrone you in any
feels
way.
like oppression.
Yeah.
And men are now falling into these really dark holes. Like, for example,
Yeah.
if I'm a man that wants to figure out how to eat better and what type of exercises should be doing.
Yeah.
Why does that lead me down a YouTube rabbit hole
Of
that has me
keto.
thinking women shouldn't drive and
Yeah.
we should bring back the Holy Roman Empire? So like,
Yeah,
right, so
yeah.
if I'm a man who's like, I don't know, I'm like iron deficient and I have achy bones and I'm searching how to fix that online.
Yeah,
Why do
yeah.
I then get a Joe Rogan interview that then teaches me that like women are worse at science? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
why as a man can I not get basic information
Yeah.
about how to make my life better? Maybe I got my heart broken, how to deal with a breakup.
Yeah, yeah.
Without being
Without-
indoctrinated
Joe Rogan.
with like straight up like conservative talking points from like the 1800s. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And like, it's interesting watching like women get really mad and like celebrate the takedown of Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
as they should. He's a literal like patriarchal fascist. Like,
Yeah.
if he could put every woman just like in chains in his home, he would.
Yeah,
You can tell
he would, yeah,
by the way he
yeah.
speaks about women.
Yeah.
It's really dangerous shit. But can you stop being mad at Andrew Tate and get like acknowledge the fact that like your little brother is in the next room like falling down this rabbit hole?
Yeah,
You get what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's already, you can't stop that. Those
Yeah.
men are gone.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, let's
it's
focus.
the ones who are falling.
It's focused on like young boys.
Yeah.
They need like a lot of help.
What are the signs that a young boy is falling down the path of incelhood? What are the signs? As a man who is also concerned about the rise of incels,
Yeah.
which is guys, it's so serious. Like this is almost as serious as climate change, and it's a
Yeah.
very feminist issue,
Yeah.
because we are the ones who suffer
Yeah.
from incels and their violence.
Oh.
How do you know when someone who isn't fully there, you're not Donald Trump yet,
Yeah.
but how do you tell that like this nigga's like 10 minutes away from being
Yeah.
Andrew Tate?
There's this thing that incels always talk about, the red pill and the
Yeah.
blue pill.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because like the Matrix was made by this trans person. And like
Yeah.
it was literally about the red pill was estrogen. In the
Yeah.
90s, little red pills were estrogen pills.
Yeah.
But it's the incel framework of the world. I only say that to say how like that's really funny.
Yeah,
That like
yeah.
these straight up like patriarchal
Yeah.
lunatics are like using a trans person's work to express themselves.
Yeah.
The blue pill is the mainstream narrative on masculinity, right? Which
Yeah.
is like in 2022, which is like if you be nice to women and you
Mm.
show them respect, they will, you know, be yours, which is inherently a patriarchal lie to begin with. Because it
Yeah.
implies that like you are owed a woman.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like that's the mainstream blue pill,
Yeah.
which is already insane, and that's the good option.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like which is men are told that if I'm just a nice boy and
Yeah.
I don't beat my wife every day,
Yeah.
then I'm like owed a woman.
Yeah, like
Which is-
morally.
It's already like insane.
Yeah.
And then the red pill basically says like that is not true. Women don't care whether you're nice.
Yeah.
Women just want money and they just want status and they just want to be taken care of or whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
women have a hidden agenda.
Right, that is what it is. Women
Wow, that's-
conspire in little meetings.
Yeah. Because we're cartoon characters.
Exactly. By the way, you notice how like both pills are like insanely dehumanizing.
And just insanely cartoonish.
Yeah.
It paints us as South Park characters.
Yeah. So in your secret meeting, women are like, we don't fuck love.
Yeah.
We bought a bag. And like that's what you guys do in your secret meetings. And the red pill says that because women are these gremlins from hell that only care about money,
Yeah.
fuck treating them good, fuck becoming a more emotionally stable person, fuck dealing with your mommy issues.
What's the solution?
Get money, nigga.
So that woman can like me?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So that's the red pill, right?
Yeah.
It's the worst faith interpretation of women and who they are and how they think that you can come up with.
Because one girl in the 3rd grade.
One girl in the 3rd grade broke your fucking heart, because let's pretend like 3rd grade heartbreaks aren't real.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the first trauma. And then when you brought it up to your boyfriends in 3rd grade, they said, ha ha ha, I'm still faster than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like, it's
yeah.
just like, no. So like men at no level of progression are able to like express their emotions.
Yeah.
Masculinity is a prison and it's a
Yes.
performance that never ends.
Yeah.
You get like men.
It's exhausting.
It's the thing that like, you know, it sucks to like be perpetuating the system and also express how exhausting it is, but it is.
Yeah.
Because by the fact that it's your system means that it's a performance you never get a break from.
Yeah.
I'm not sure women get a break from.
Femininity.
Do you think they do?
No, not at all.
Mm.
You need a lot of privilege to escape the prison of femininity, but it is possible. But then, I don't know.
When
I guess
women-
I've never seen it.
when
I've never
women-
seen that.
Are around other women, do they let down that
No.
performance of femininity?
I guess in very rare instances of sisterhood, but like sisterhood is a very collectivist concept and ideology, and collectivism doesn't exist under capitalism.
Yeah.
So like not under capitalism is my answer. In order to feel, and this is also what I wanted to talk about in the context of like incels, I feel like men don't have, which I guess is what you're saying too, like men don't have a community. And that's because community is a very collectivist concept. Like, it cannot coexist with capitalism.
Yeah.
Because capitalism is inherently individualistic. So, like, as soon as you embrace capitalism as, like, a good ideology,
Facts.
you lose all ability to ever experience community.
Yeah.
And, like, then when you don't experience community, you become really cold and alienated and isolated from reality, like, from truth, you know? And you become, like, really extreme.
Yeah.
Like, because you're so far off from just, like, living in reality. Why do men just not live in reality?
Well, that's really a good point. And something
Yeah.
you brought up is that men created the system.
Yeah.
The system is patriarchy, but it's more importantly capitalism. And capitalism is collapsing. Wouldn't the collapse of capitalism also imply some spiritual, emotional, and cognitive collapse of men simultaneously? You get what I mean? So it's like a lot of this radicalization of young men is really a result of the status and the capital and whatever that they were promised from this system isn't being fulfilled.
Interesting.
And the finger they point to is women instead of the system, because it's scary to point to the system, and it's easy to degrade women.
Yeah.
So like that power vacuum, that incel power vacuum, is really a bunch of grifters like Andrew Tate or Joe Rogan or all of these alpha male Jordan
Or
Peterson.
Russell Brand as
Russell
of late.
Brand is also a fucking grifter now, and they are these buzzards that are feeding up on the collapse of a collapsed narrative, right? Like the narrative on capitalism, the narrative on patriarchy, that idea of like, I'm owed a woman and I'm owed a house and I'm owed the white picket fence is all collapsing at the same time, because I'm not getting the white picket fence.
Yeah. Or the house.
I'm not getting the house.
Or the woman.
No woman has touched me in 3 years.
Yeah.
And like the whole narrative is collapsing, and it's actually leading to a psychotic break.
Yeah.
Like Andrew Tate is a mass psychosis of men.
Yeah.
It is men collectively going through like a mass psychosis. And at the end of the day, because this is a patriarchy, we are the workhorses of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're the ones, like, on the construction site. Don't get me wrong, women are the ones in the hospitals and in the public schools.
Yeah.
But, like, we're all bearing the brunt of this. I could argue femininity is kind of collapsing in a similar way.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, yeah, now I have to be in the office and on the construction site and at home, being like a real woman.
Yeah.
So like gender
is collapsing.
And
what is gender? Like in the, not as like a lofty philosophical ideal, but like what is gender in the hearts and the minds of people? What do they feel they need to embody it as? Like, do you know what I mean?
This is why like I think we should all cheat off of like the homework that trans people did as far as navigating this collapse of gender.
Yeah.
Which is why like it's so interesting to me that like the Matrix was made by a trans person, because they understood this is all this arbitrary matrix and they like made an art expression about that.
Yeah.
And it's like that's and you have to find something that's like better for your mental health. You have to like create a construct that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because like,
what is that to you?
Oh, that's a really difficult question.
Yeah.
I think that in this era, women have been able to step into more traditionally masculine roles, but men haven't really been able to step into traditionally feminine roles, as far as like mainstream narratives. And then also the fact that capitalism is collapsing. They actually can't, because both genders have to be at work. So yeah, like it would be something that is more sustainable. But I'm also not someone who is looking for that in gender identity. I get why people are. I get why like people prefer to go as non-binary or whatever, because like that's the way that they figure it out for themselves. For me personally though, I think it is just about lifestyle. I don't want to like live a traditionally masculine lifestyle all the time. It's exhausting. It's really exhausting. I'm someone who identifies as straight, so imagine how other people feel. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say I feel like, and this is why I've become so fascinated with gender, is I feel like these past few years I have been watching you opt out of masculinity, and it's a choice, not opt out like literally. But just as in, like, the confines of it. I feel like, we all know you can't opt out of, like, the optics of being a man. Like, you can't, you know? But just, like, the ideology behind it. I've seen you just, like, setting it aside and being like, that's not for me. Like, the culture behind it, the aesthetics behind it. Why have you made that decision? And, like, where are you going?
I feel like that's like asking someone why they got off one of the life rafts on the Titanic.
It's
like, it's not a hard decision. This shit is going down.
Yeah.
If masculinity were a stock, and by the way, that doesn't mean that there isn't really important shit. To answer your question, it's a really good question. I feel like I've just sorted through, like, the pile of like what's good and what's bad. I think it's wrong to say that every single last thing about traditional masculinity was all bad. It doesn't mean that just men need to embody them, but it means that the traits we associated with that arbitrary concept are still good. Being like someone who takes care of people, being someone who provides structure to people's lives. That's all still good shit. Those are like the best two things I can highlight. But like the rest of it's actual just absurd bullshit. It's like actually insane nonsense. That you can actually just trace back to Christianity. Like truly. Ancient cultures had really different gender expressions. Some of it's similar to now, but like a lot of ancient cultures had third sex expression. You know, very normalized thing.
Especially in African cultures.
And it's all arbitrary white man paperwork. You
know
that every time you click a gender box, it's just
really
white man
arbitrary.
paperwork.
It's for like advertising purposes. Also, like, people think gender is this huge, profound, godly, celestial, philosophical concept, when it's really just a construct for advertising. It's so that, like, advertisers can better market you, because they've categorized you. Men buy tools and women buy makeup. So now, coincidentally, what it means to be a woman includes makeup. You know, like, so much of it is just for ads.
I want to go back to your original question. It was really good. What do you do when you see a man in your life falling down the alt-right? And my answer was like, do
you hold each other accountable?
Men.
Is it funny that I even asked? No, because, like, Donald Trump's friends have never sat him down and been like, fam, I think Is everything okay at home? 'Cause
incredible
you're running for president.
thing I was thinking about the other day.
Yeah.
A core tenet of this red pill incel shit, Andrew
Yeah.
Tate type shit,
Yeah.
is this idea of like we don't simp. We don't simp for women because
Yeah.
they're scared at like how much capital women have been able to reclaim through like OnlyFans and shit.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
really threatens men.
Yeah.
Like how much women don't need us anymore and all that shit. So the whole alpha male red pill shit is just like don't simp. Like, you never simp for women. Like, don't send her money. Like, make sure she buys her own flight. It's this whole thing of, like,
Yeah.
don't let women take your money. Because the whole idea of women in this ideology
Is
is,
that
like,
they're here to take your money.
what, like, Hitler did to the perception of the Jews.
Yeah.
Like, men and incels have, like, done to the perception of women. They're,
Yeah.
like, these evil creatures that are just out to get you, king.
Why do they
And-
think we are, like, what do they think their ultimate goal is? Do we eat you at night in a dungeon? Do we, like, use your energy to
Yeah.
power our new
Well, they're
towns?
fucking
Like,
fascists, dude. It's like they need a threat. Fascists always need a boogeyman.
Yeah,
They
so
always
women-
need this thing that's like leading to like moral decay.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
construct of like the Western woman is like
Yeah.
leading to like moral decay. Feminism is moral decay.
Yeah.
LGBTQ shit is moral decay. Fascism
Yeah.
is always, it always has a boogeyman. So there's straight up fascism. For red pill incel niggas, women are the big threat. They're, you know, they're come to steal your money and your time, and they're gonna break your heart and da da da.
But what I'm asking is, why would you make the object of your desire your biggest threat? Like,
Well, now you're asking niggas to make sense.
no, because that is what being an incel is.
Mm.
It's to take your highest object of desire and make it your op.
Yeah.
And, like, be shooting at it. But you
Yeah.
love it so much.
Yeah.
And you need it. And
Yeah.
you yearn for it. And you would die for it.
Yeah.
Why make that your opposition?
They just don't know how to be around women, and therefore they can only be around more and more men. And then you get even worse at being around women. So then you
Yeah.
can only, and like you listen to these like alpha male niggas speak in public or like exist in public spaces. And it's like embarrassing. It's like
Yeah.
you can't exist around women. Like
Yeah.
you don't know anything about women. You don't spend any time with them. You
Yeah.
know, like niggas that'll like be at the club and like a Cardi B song will come on and they'll just be like, "Oh, fuck with this shit, man." Like, you know, like niggas like that. It's like, do you just not like when like women are happy? They like see women being happy and they're like, "Fuck this nigga. Nigga, put on Jadakiss, nigga." And it's like they're listening to Meg Thee Stallion and like having a fun time. You know what I mean?
Why
Like,
do men hate when we're having a good time?
you know the type of niggas I'm talking
No,
about,
I
though, right?
literally, the exact,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, they hate watching women have any fun. And they're like for like
And that's why you're incels.
like
yeah.
no, like for niggas, like I enjoy that. Like
Yeah.
especially with music. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy when like music makes women happy or like
Yeah.
feel empowered or whatever. Like it doesn't like make me upset.
Do they view it as a threat to their happiness?
Yeah, no, they hear fucking Meg Thee Stallion talk about like robbing a nigga for his pockets and shit, and like fun. It's like women are being fun. They're not being.
Yeah.
They're being as goofy as men are all the time
Yeah,
in music.
yeah.
Men aren't seriously like fuck these hoes, but like if for music
Yeah,
it's fun. So it's like
yeah.
I get why Meg is like fuck this nigga for his money. Like it's fun. It's
Yeah,
fucking fun.
yeah.
And they hear that at the function, and they're like these Jezebels.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And they're like, they don't know, because they don't view women as human beings, so they don't get that they can also be like doing something in jest or exaggerating or
Yeah.
having fun
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
not being fully
Well, they just
serious.
view women as for them. So
Yeah.
when they see us women doing things that are not for them, they're like, why would they do this? Why is a woman doing something that's not for me?
They also don't give women the right to humor, where it's
Yeah.
like there's this whole incel craze of being mad at phrases like "kill all men" and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like it's fun. Women are allowed to be funny. Like
Yeah.
you're allowed to exaggerate
Yeah.
to be funny.
Yeah.
In the same
Yeah.
way, and it's always like white male comedians complain about this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, can I not say something in jest? Can I not say? It's like women are being funny.
Yeah.
They're
just
like
doing the
yeah,
thing.
they're like
Yeah.
doing the same thing that men do all the time
Yeah.
and complain that we're not allowed to do. So it's like women being like, you know, having fun or like letting loose or like just making some shit to dance in the
Yeah.
club too. It's like immediately taken as like serious. You know?
So you catch your nephew becoming an incel, what do you do?
Oh man.
Because you've seen the signs, and what are the signs?
I would say the signs are holding women to a standard that's clearly like a Western capitalist beauty standard and like standard of being. Because you notice this with incels a lot. It's always just like, these women aren't thin enough and skinny enough and have thin enough noses. Like, oh cool, you're describing a white woman. You know what I mean? Like the standard that like incels are always trying to hold women to is kind of just like the standard of like a subservient skinny white woman.
Yeah.
So like when you see like a young boy's mind being shaped around like that definition of what a woman even is, you can tell they're like going down like a weird path.
Yeah, interesting.
It's like that video of that teacher that was complaining because like her student was like saying Andrew Tate shit in school, and he's like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is this 8-year-old boy like, women are just after your money? Like, what, your lunch money? Like, what money? You're 8. And like, right, but that's where it starts. Because like, in order to demonize women, you first have to create the premise in a young boy's mind of what a woman even is. And when you see that starting...
Which is like money thieves.
These like money thieves that are just trying to use you and that are just to be used for like sex and should look a certain way. That's the big start, when it's like women should be thin and like have like be light skinned. It's like you're describing a white woman.
Well, enforcing beauty standards is a way to make sure that women conform to the ideal of white Western femininity. It's like it's a very like insidious way of informing fascism. That is what beauty standards are. They are inherently fascist. They are like, if you are not like this, you will be punished. Harshly.
And you see this especially with like how misguided like Hotep niggas are.
Sorry, but can we fire this bitch?
She's so unprofessional.
We are at work and look at her.
She's so unprofessional, and it's like, we keep paying her more and more money.
And it's every day she does this.
She's insufferable. Okay, you're insufferable. Baby.
You, Mango.
But she's so cute.
She's so cute, and that's what's toxic about, like, fundamentally.
Yeah.
We pay her so much.
We pay her so much goddamn money.
She takes so much of our money.
Speaking of Mango, though, Hotep niggas.
Yes.
So the thing with Hotep niggas is they always claim to be pro-black. Dr. Umar is always like, we's African, we only Africans, like only African women. Yet they enforce like the most white American, therefore black American constructs of like where women should be in the home. Because you then come to Africa or matriarchal societies and realize like being pro-black or pro-African would be like women taking on way more roles that you view as males roles. You know what I mean?
Have
like
no business doing.
Sorry, that's like trying to express that is hard, but like like that pro-black shit in America is so rooted to like Western patriarchy. Like, and you see it in like black American hoteps. Because their perception of a woman is still a Western perception of a woman. As opposed to like you actually leave black America or like places where we're not in the imperial core, we're in our own countries. You realize that like women's roles and the construct of a woman
are so much more expansive.
It's a completely different definition.
So
like people think they're like being pro-black or woke, but still using like a Western construct of like in Africa, women are just a different thing.
And gender is just a different thing.
And they're completely different problems based on what but it's like you have to understand that like if you're just using that definition, you're starting off wrong.
Because like your premise.
The way you talk about women is always gonna suck because of what that word means to you.
So do you think patriarchy is inherently white? It's like it's white culture. Because why did all cultures, without even agreeing with each other, agree on patriarchy?
Patriarchy predates white supremacy, but like there have always just been cultures that have had better things going on. You know? Like even like specifically Bantu cultures in Africa that clearly lean more matriarchal, but then you go to West Africa and it's like those are very patriarchal people. Like Yoruba people were patriarchal before white people even stepped foot on their land.
Interesting.
That doesn't mean that they didn't have other things better figured out than white society, but like there's this myth that is inherently a white supremacist myth that only white men make history. And you buy into white supremacy by believing that. You think black men weren't trash before white men came around? That is the ultimate white supremacist thought. That like white people bad, white people are responsible for all history. That's not true. It's a very recent thing. I had this friend once that
Interesting.
was telling me about ancient records of a prostitution ring of Ghanaian women that Yoruba men were running before colonization. It was like an
Wow.
ancient document of the British actually studying that area for colonization.
Interesting.
And it's like, okay, well, black men were doing that before we even knew what white men were.
Yeah.
So maybe there's
Yeah.
things that like we need to take accountability
Yeah,
for
in
in our
shaping.
own constructs.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
So you can't blame white people for everything. You
That's
you
really-
miss out on a
yeah.
lot of the picture actually
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you blame white people for everything. Patriarchy is its own monster.
Yeah.
The way it intersectionally combines with patriarchy is interesting, but yeah, they're definitely two separate monsters.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I actually, you've convinced me, because I used to think otherwise, but no, like,
Yeah. Sorry, we keep getting it was
why are
how,
niggas incels?
yeah, and how to stop someone from becoming
Yes.
an incel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's really hard because like a lot of these niggas aren't gonna get women.
Yeah.
And they were told their whole life that they're owed one. And then you meet these niggas and you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I will say this is the best time in the world to just be a reasonable, well-adjusted man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you look at these other, like you look at the incel niggas and it's like, okay, like the fact that all men are complaining is kind of crazy. Because
Yeah.
if you're just a decent man that clips your toenails,
Yeah. No,
And-
the bar is so low for
is
us.
reasonably emotionally well-adjusted,
Yeah.
doesn't think that all women should be kept in chains to the bed.
Yeah.
It's-
The bar is really low.
Right, like it's like let's not pretend that like, but you'd have to actually know women to like not view them as this crazy demon that's
Yeah.
trying to, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, I don't know.
No, it's fascinating, and I think we should continue this exploration of the incel
Yeah,
and like its effects on culture at large.
yeah,
Not just feminism, but like its effects on gender and its effects on like how we perceive each other and how we eat and how
Yeah.
we move through space and how we relate to one another.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because this is another last way I think you would actually like help this channel from like ending.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you think there is like a sincere claim that like there is an attack on like working class men?
Interesting.
Do you give any merit to that argument?
A little bit,
Yeah.
but I would blame that on capitalism.
Right.
When women were forced into the workplace,
Yeah.
okay, let me rearrange that sentence.
Yeah, yeah.
When women were coerced to want to be in the workplace,
Yeah.
we were promised something that we never really got,
Mm.
which is like equality and
Mm.
equity, more importantly,
Interesting.
you know, and we didn't get that.
Mm.
And so now we have all of these financial pressures
Mm.
without any of the promised equity or
Right.
equality
Right.
or access or opportunity. And so now we're like, well, then you guys do it.
Right. Yeah.
You
yeah.
said I would
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah,
a decent
sure.
paying job,
That makes
bitch.
sense. Yeah, yeah.
You said that if I go to school and be a, you know,
Mm.
you said that if I opted out of like traditional femininity, what it means, that, you know, oppressive construct, that I
Mm.
would then gain access to opportunity and respect
Mm.
and equity and, you know,
Mhm.
equality. And I got none of that.
Yeah.
And since we all need those things to survive, you get them.
Right, right.
And now you guys are burdened with a responsibility. The gender war is really playing out on the grounds of capitalism. Like, we both hate capitalism
Or that,
and
like-
we blame each other
Mm,
for
facts.
its effects on us.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
capitalism kills us, and then we're just like, no, but it's that nigga.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's really funny is like something we were talking about this the other day because it's true and it's what's really happening.
Yeah.
In an age where like women are surpassing us in education
Yeah.
and like a bunch of other factors that are like a result of like men really like not having the right priorities.
Yeah.
Like women have kind of glowed up on us in our lifetime. A lot of
Mm.
niggas are mad about that. But the average man in 2022 is 5'8" and makes $30,000 in an economy where a house starts at $600,000,
Yeah,
when raising
yeah.
a child is $300,000, when
Yeah.
and like women in trying to fulfill whatever this traditional feminine thing that they wanted to fulfill, it's actually like financially just unfeasible.
Yeah.
You get
It's
what I
just
mean?
not a
So
viable...
like I think like women are noticing that the average man is 5'8" and makes $30,000 and are like, I want no part of either of these.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of point you made, like men are also like getting less physically attractive.
Yeah.
You know, like we're all of these kind of like unhealthy.
You eat Krispy Kreme.
We sit in video game chairs all
Yeah,
day.
you're
and we're
so
like
gremlin-like.
We're just these little, and like we talk in high voices
Yeah.
about how trash you are.
Yes.
You know, and I think women are like looking at the state of masculinity.
And we're being like, yuck.
Yeah,
Like, I'm disgusted.
Right, the things that
Yeah.
you used to be attracted to aren't even there anymore.
Yeah.
All the things you hate are there, like, even more.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, and you just kind of want nothing to do with any of it.
Yeah.
But that's a failure of capitalism to me.
Yeah.
Where
Yes.
it's like, you know, maybe if
Capitalism
men,
turned us both into these people we were never meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if men made more than $30,000 a year in an economy when like houses are $600,000, like basic things.
Yeah.
Getting a knee operation is $18,000.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if men weren't forced to work like in these conditions, we wouldn't be these resentful lunatics that spend all day shitting on you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's where that resent is going.
Yeah.
And I think what's really happening is capitalism has failed men. We're too cowardice to take
To
it up with
admit
the
it.
real cause.
Yes.
Because that's scary.
Yeah.
The federal government is
Yeah,
scary.
yeah, yeah.
And because I don't want to take on, you know, the military-industrial complex and
Yeah.
shit, I'm going to just shit on women on the internet.
Yes.
Because I'm a coward.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
really what's happening.
Yeah.
But you're completely right. Like as the fucking big, you know, really zoomed out battle that's really happening, which is kind of like the end of capitalism, is being played out in gender. Because notice we're arguing about specific figures.
Yes.
We're arguing about
Yeah.
$200 dates.
Yes.
These are
Yeah.
economic metrics.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a sign that our economic
and it's
system
why
is
I say
failing.
because gender is an economic construct. It's
Yeah.
not celestial. It's not even real. It's just like a way to make capitalism easier.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that it's just a transportation system for capitalism.
Yeah.
So like let's blame the thing.
Instead of both black men and black women getting mad at the greater system of capitalism to the
Yeah.
point is, why do I need $200 to
Yeah.
take someone I might be interested in out on a good time, like a
Yeah.
half decent time, right?
Yeah,
Because as a
yeah.
guy, what, like, you know, I gotta get you an Uber. I don't want you to take the train to the date. I gotta make sure
yeah.
you're comfortable getting to the
Yeah.
date. And it's like, so that whole process takes up half of my fucking salary. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
That's the argument.
Yeah,
But instead of
yeah.
taking that up with our bosses, we take it
Yeah,
up with each
other.
other.
Yeah.
You get what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
that's the fucking thing. And I
Yeah.
think that we're both kind of cowards in that way. Because we could be getting mad at, like, the real...
Yeah, but divide and conquer. That's
Exactly.
what capitalism had to do.
Yeah.
It had to divide and conquer.
They definitely did that with black people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, white women kind of, like, snuck you guys on their side, and then
Yeah.
white men kind of snuck us on their side,
Yeah.
and they just kind of forced us to fight each other. And we're the only people that do this.
Yeah, yeah.
You never see Asians doing this. You never see... We're
No,
the only people...
that's how bad we have it.
Yeah.
We just fight each other on Twitter.
Yeah.
Insane. Well, there you have it, guys. Incels.
Yeah, yeah.
Incels. Thank you for...
Making points.
No, I feel like this podcast has become me dragging you to a scenic, beautiful location.
Yeah.
Asking you why men are trash.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, like, forcing you to explain
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere.
I hope I did a half-decent job.
No, I think
Yeah.
you did. I think this was very informative.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, these are the topics we need to have as two people at war.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, Mango, any final thoughts on incels?
I
don't know what to do about
I've
it
had
anymore.
enough with this one.
I don't know what to do about
I've
her.
just, this one, I don't know what we're going to do with it.
We're gonna have to figure that out. But
Okay.
thank you for watching. Let us know your thoughts on incels. And I think this might be a spicy episode. I can't tell.
Probably.
But it was very honest.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll give it that. It was very honest.
Yeah, yeah.
So let us know your honest thoughts on
Yeah.
why incels exist and what we need to do about it.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.